What about real estate around Austin? What about real estate around? How many people is it going to take to build this gargantuan fab? A lot.
Yeah.
They're going to need to live somewhere. They're going to get paid well. So what if you buy real estate around and rent it out for the next 5 years to the people that are building TerraFab? There you go. That's for free for your audience.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Buddy Rushing, is a Marine veteran, real estate investor, and founder of White Feather Investments and White Feather AI. He focuses on helping entrepreneurs, veterans, and first responders build real financial freedom through real estate, AI, and disciplined execution. His approach is straightforward: build systems, stay consistent, and create long-term income. His mission is to help people create generational impact by giving them the tools, mindset, and network to actually win. Thanks for taking the time today, buddy.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Good intro.
Now,
That was nice and
when
concise.
when we talk about AI, everyone seems to be talking about it, but implementing it can be overwhelming. We were talking in the green room a lot of times, especially if people don't come from a tech background and they're relationally driven as a real estate operator, investor, agent, they're just not sure what the first step to take is. What advice would you have for those folks?
I mean, we don't. Let me frame it by saying this. For people that think you need to be technical, understand something. The most underemployed cohort in America right now is recent college graduates. Recent college graduates are taking longer to get jobs than any other single demographic of people. There was a recent study that was put out that computer science majors have an 18% job placement rate as opposed to an 80% job placement rate 2 years ago. 18%. So what is happening is that your entry-level technical people are being completely outsourced to AI. And so, one, there's implications for that for college students, and we can talk about that, and I'm happy to, and the four-year college system just in general. But the takeaway from that is that you don't need to be technical. You were just saying before that, you can vibe code your way and the AI can actually debug things for you, and you don't need. I am not a technical guy. I learned what an API call was from my AI. Didn't even know what it was. I have built websites. I've built businesses. I've built structure and dashboards and firewalls and Cloudflare tunnels and all of this stuff. I didn't even know what any of that stuff meant when I was doing it. It didn't need to. I'm not a technical guy. There are places for the highly technical people, but there's fewer of them than ever before because now they can manage teams of AI agents.
And
so
one of the things too,
for those of you yeah, go ahead.
One of the things too that I think gets lost in this conversation is the barriers to knowledge are fewer and fewer. I mean, you mentioned not having a technical background, but having built so much. If you get stuck, it's not like you have to search down some forum or find someone who, may have lots of certifications and experience. You can interact to educate and self-educate yourself while you're trying to build something for your business.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
In my opinion, it is the best form of education that exists because experiential learning has long since been proven to be the best way to learn, meaning you learn by doing. And before, you would never be able to do that. But now you have an agent that can do it, help you with it. And so to answer the question, if you have no idea even what a frontier lab or a large language model is, and you're like, what are you talking about? I've heard of ChatGPT, that's it. And I've played around with it a little bit. Don't worry. You're in the group of probably 80% of the people that are out there. Like the average person will tell you they're using AI, but what they mean is they're using ChatGPT to ask questions like instead of Google. Like that's what they mean, most of them.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. What I would recommend is that you start asking deeper and more inquisitive questions. Any question that you have. Let's start with this. Open up your ChatGPT browser and say, how do I best use AI? And then see what it says. And then when it says, oh, you could use it for this and this and this, be like, well, I'm not interested in those things. I'm an 18-year-old freshman in college. I don't know anything. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I don't have a job. I don't have any skills. This was, by the way, me. I'm describing myself when I was an 18-year-old, right? What do I do? How do I use AI? And just start talking to it. And it will, I promise you, the conversation will be rewarding and you'll come out on the other end more informed.
One of the things we were talking about in the green room, which I hadn't heard anyone in AI or outside of AI talk about, is you can keep yourself essentially focused, locked in a positive uh, feedback loop when you're trying to do something challenging, whether that's writing a book, whether that's building a website, whether that's, prospecting and diving into a CRM. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the biggest, you'll have to excuse me, I have like a cough. One of the biggest differences that AI, especially agentic AI, which we could talk about later, but one of the biggest differences that it offers is, in my mind, the ability to truly enjoy what it is that you're doing in the process. Okay. So in the previous, like before Google, if you wanted to know something, you would ask your dad, or you would go to the local library and you'd search and you'd find a book on the subject. You'd read the book on the subject and then you'd learn something, which is fine, but it's really slow. And a lot of times that barrier to entry is too high for the average person because it's boring, right? And it takes a long time or whatever. Then along comes Google and it changed the way that we access information. But if you're trying to really dive deep into a topic and really have a rich discourse, you can't do that with Google. It returns pages and mostly they're ads and then you dived into this and then it's clickbait and then all this other stuff, right? So where do we get that? Well, we would get that from humans. So Dylan and I would have a conversation and Dylan would have this knowledge that I don't have and I'd have this knowledge he doesn't have and we would enjoy the conversation. Now fast forward to AI. And if you train it and prompt it properly, you can have the richest, most intellectually satisfying conversations you've ever had in your life. I'll give you an example of this. I was like, of all of the things that AI can answer for us, there's one question throughout the history of humanity that everyone's been asking. And, in many, many ways is the most important question any you could ask in the history of humanity. And that is, of course, why are we here? Right. And I was like, well, let's see what AI says. And Dylan, here's the premise I started from. I said, okay,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I want you to optimize this conversation for probabilistic truth, meaning no one actually knows why we're here, definitively 100%. No one does, right? So I want to get to what is the most probable truth. What, based off of statistics and probability, take all world religions into account, take all viewpoints, worldviews, agnosticism, atheism, like whatever, right? Take all philosophers throughout history into account and what they've said, and then take all books that have ever been written, from the Quran to Bible to whatever, right? To self-help books, to Tony Robbins, to like everything, anything throughout history that you can find online that has pointed toward trying to answer the question of why we're here.
Yeah.
Synthesize it together, and then let's have a conversation and give me what is most probably true, right? And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I had a 3-hour conversation based off that premise to talk about, okay, so why are there so many different religions in the world that say different things? Boom, 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 boom. Very intellectually satisfying answer. Oh my God, such a good answer, right? Okay, then what happens when we die? What's most likely to happen when you die? Boom, 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 boom. Super satisfying. And it was a 3-hour conversation, so I'm not going to go into it here, but it was unbelievably satisfying. And I personally, just as an educated person, have long since asked many, many humans the answer to these questions, and I've always felt myself not fully satisfied with the answer. And I've asked tons of different humans, right? And so for the first time in my life, AI, specially trained and prompted AI, has given me a more intellectually satisfying response to that massive question than I've ever had before. Isn't that
Wow.
wild?
You know, as I'm listening to this, what strikes me is that people can get specific information. You know, you could ask it a question, hey, where can I find, the best place to invest in real estate in the Sun Belt based on market rents and appreciation over a 3 to 5 year period. But then you could also effectively have it train you to think differently. Like you're asking broad, you know, even like a theological question, why are we here? And enabling you to have an open mind and engage in like a multi-hour dialogue. Now, I can imagine applying that to so many things. And as a realtor, I'm thinking about like, okay, let's take a look at everything that I'm doing in my business. How can I be overall more productive, overall, maybe doing some things that are moving the needle? Not everyone is doing it. And effectively have it triage everything that I'm doing rather than just asking it specific pointed questions.
For sure. So there's the practical applications are virtually endless. I was having a conversation with Maverick, my AI, like 8 months ago, and I was like, so I have this real estate investment business, and we help veterans and first responders and their families build financial freedom. But I'm crazy about AI. AI is changing the world. Where's the intersection of real estate and AI? And he was like, well, you should probably look at where they're building infrastructure projects to support AI. You know what the largest infrastructure project at that time to support AI is? The Hyperion data center that Meta was building in North Louisiana. So I looked at that and I said, okay, it's a 4 million square foot data center, a $30 billion construction project in an area where the median household income is $53,000, where the median home price is $170,000. Median home price in America is $430,000. So that means that even if the real estate in that area doubles in value because of this data center, it still isn't at the average or the median home price in America, which means it's got way room to grow. So what do? Why don't we go in there and we buy houses, rent them out to the people that are building the data center?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And hold them while the path of progress grows around them. And so 6 months later, we own 20 properties. We're renting them out. They're cash flowing anywhere from 8 to 25% cash on cash return. And they're appreciating like crazy. And we're on track to buy 100 this year. So that's an example of a path of progress play. And by the way, they're in Texas. Did you see that Elon announced the Terafab? And do you know where the Terafab's
I have to
going?
go look this up now. Yeah.
Austin, Texas. So the Terafab is his answer to the chip shortage in the world. So just very briefly, and this is really important to understand this logistics chain. From the top level, the President of the United States has said that it is a national security imperative to beat China to artificial general intelligence, which means that our AI race is something we have to win. Okay, so what that means from a practical perspective is your legal hurdles, your legislation, any of that kind of stuff from the top down is not going to be impinged. It's going to be actually removed, right? Red tape and legislation is going to be removed. So it's going to be easier for these frontier labs like Google and Meta and companies like that to build the infrastructure. That's huge, because if the government is restricting, it's like flying cars. The reason we don't have flying cars everywhere right now is not because of the technology, it's because of the FAA, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it exists. So now you've got the president saying, all bets are off. We got to beat China at AGI. So then you've got these frontier labs that have pledged over $1 trillion of infrastructure development in the next year to build these data centers. The data centers rely on chips. That's why NVIDIA is a $5 trillion company, because they make the chips, the GPUs, that the data centers run on, which supports the AI. 70% of the world's chips are made by a company called TSMC, Taiwan Superconductor Manufacturing Company, Taiwan. So this 70% of the world's chips, which the AI depends on, comes out of Taiwan. Do you know of Taiwan's history with China?
Yeah, I mean,
most
right
people
now
do.
Yeah,
China has wanted Taiwan back into the homeland for a century. It's considered the massive shame. And China, if China were to forcibly take Taiwan and take over TSMC, they would throttle the world's ability to get chips and effectively secure a win in the AI arms race. Now, there would be backlash. There would probably be a World War III scenario. So China doesn't want to do that, but they could. So Elon Musk, back to the Terafab, is building, he announced plans to build a fabrication company. It's called a fab, a fabrication building to create 5 times the amount of chips that are produced right now in the world over the course of the next 5 years.
Whoa.
So other than the geopolitical and strategic ramifications of that, which are interesting, but probably not for real estate investors to care about too much, what about real estate around Austin? What about real estate around? How many people is it going to take to build this gargantuan fab? A lot.
Yeah.
They're going to need to live somewhere. They're going to get paid well. So what if you buy real estate around and rent it out for the next 5 years to the people that are building Terafab? There you go. That's for free for your audience.
That's a trend that I think we're seeing more of. But there's also some level of how much do I need to know about AI, right, in order to invest in these areas. But I think if you just look at the perspective of jobs, right, there's going to be people needed in order to build these, just like they needed with the Gigafactory, just like you mentioned at the place in Louisiana. You're going to have net migration positively into these areas. Whether you
Mhm.
understand what's going on with AI or not, you can look at that and say, that's a win for me as an investor.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. I like, you don't, me, I know a lot of the ancillary sort of geopolitical stuff and everything like that just because it's interesting to me. I don't need to know it. You don't, you could say it's going to take 8,000 people 3 years to build this data center. The population in Washita Parish or in Richland Parish is 18,000 people, which means that there's going to be an increase of roughly 50% of the population for 3
50%.
years.
Yeah.
Where are they going to stay? So they're going to eat. They're going to go out to dinner. They're going to buy clothes at the local store. They're gonna drive. They're gonna use the local auto shops. Basic stuff. You pump in a 50% population increase, and what happens in the area? Economic growth. Rents
That's
go
right.
up. Home
Right.
prices go up, and so that's all you need to really understand. You know,
In order to make the next move. Yeah. And I think especially when folks are looking at, well, where do I invest? Where do I get started? I'm hearing so many different things. Do I get started as a lender? Do I do fix and flip? Do I buy and hold short-term rentals? Buying near data centers or buying near areas where uh, artificial intelligence and tech are merging, chip production, this could be another huge area for people to look into. We are coming up on time here, buddy. Any new projects that you're working on? And then as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
yeah, I mean, there's new, it's every day. The biggest one we're doing right now is integrating OpenClaw across all of our top people. I mean, th- there's Jensen Wang actually said it best, the CEO of NVIDIA. He was like, OpenClaw is the most important software that humanity has ever developed. So it was released 5 weeks ago. Most people have never heard of it. And those that are using it, were revolutionizing it. So think of ChatGPT like the smartest assistant that you've ever had, but sleeps at his desk until you ask him to do something, right? You ask it a question, it wakes up, gives you the most brilliant answer you've ever seen, and then goes back to sleep. Now imagine that assistant is now awake, alive, proactively crawling through your business, proactively working, can code, can design websites, can search through your email inbox and tell you what emails you need to respond to, can have its own email address and speak back and forth to your customers. Really, the sky's the limit. But OpenClaw is also potentially very dangerous because it is that powerful. And there's also potentially some security concerns that you have to deal with. So I say all that to say, I want to say publicly, I would not recommend the average person just go download OpenClaw and just go to town, because there are security issues and there are some dangers with it. Have somebody help you do it, right? Because if you do it correctly, you've got a Ferrari. If you don't do it correctly, it could be really dangerous. But that's what we're doing, and that's where we're integrating OpenClaw across a lot of our businesses. Um, Shoot, man, we've got the school community, White Feather AI school community. So you heard of Alex Hormozzi's school, SKOOL.
Yeah.
So on that school community, if you look at White Feather AI, you'll see that we have a community I mean, it's for everybody. If somebody's like, I don't even know how to use ChatGPT, we've got a 7-day little sprint, 10 minutes a day. You just watch little videos and it'll teach you how to prompt and how to set your LLM up and everything. And then we've got all the way up to the VIP tier, which is like a mastermind. So honestly, that's a great place for people to start, is because it doesn't matter if you've never even opened ChatGPT before. You could start from just pure scratch.
Buddy, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.